My goal with this is just to bring you guys along, show you what the actually like the ins and outs are. I'm probably just rambling right now, but just show you what it really looks like. Probably not going to edit very well because I don't know how to do that. But just want to bring you guys along and show you the ins and outs and the real life, day-to-day, what it really looks like. Not high polish and not edited and all that. All right, guys, today I'm going to be taking some pictures of some inventory and figured I'd just bring you guys along with me. So I'm going to start off with just showing you what we're going to be listing. A couple of things we're going to be listing. Vineyard Vines, corduroy, men's pants. Got some Democracy Ab Solution women's jeans. Some American Eagle. I believe these are men's. No, these are women's. Women's kick boot jeans. Found some like vintage camo army pants. These are they have some damage to them, but sometimes that sells okay. Some 510s, Levi's 510s. Got some Wrangler corduroy. I believe these are men's pants. I'll have to look. Polo Ralph Lauren, the Andrew pant in a blue. Found some Dockers. I'm not sure. These sell sometimes they're okay. They're pleated twill, and I believe they're vintage with the tag here. They're not made in USA, so we'll see how those go. LL Bean. I think these are women's pants. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. In black. Got some more Levi's. These are vintage. 550. They're not made in the US, but they're the older tag. Relaxed fit 550s. These don't have the leather patch on the back, so we'll see about those. In a black charcoal, some, I don't even know how you say this. I've been buying this brand, but Adriana Goldsmith, I think. The Protege men's. These usually sell pretty good. I picked these up, and I haven't sold them before. I didn't even look them up. They're Cabela's men's, like camo, spandexy kind of pants. What do we got? Some more Dockers. Probably stop picking these up. Individual fit, the Stain Defender in a blue. Got some more. These are the 770s, I think. These J. Crew 770s. No, they're the 484s. The J. Crew 484. Like a khaki. Got some polo jeans. Ralph Lauren. I picked these up. I didn't even research these. I'm not sure what the sell-through rate on them is, but they were on sale. Lucky Brand. I believe these are 221s maybe. No, 361 vintage straight. It's got some Carhartts here. Some Carhartt Carpenter jeans. Duluth. Ballroom double flex. Been buying these. I'm not sure. I probably should look them up. I haven't really done a good job of looking those up or not. Some Levi 559s in a pretty decent size, 40, 30s. I have some more Carhartt Carpenter pant jeans and LL Bean jeans. I think these are men's. Yep. 37-30, so it's kind of a weird size, but we'll see. And then some more LL Bean 44-28 jeans. So this is what I'll be taking pictures of today. I have been selling men's and women's jeans and pants on eBay since beginning of April 2024. We have 890 listed, 156 scheduled, and the last 90 days was 8,229. We also have 5 to ship out that I need to ship out today. So yeah, I'm listing currently 10 a day. I'm planning to bump that up to 15 a day at the beginning of the year. And we'll start with this pair right here. So I always make sure to keep them folded pretty flat. That way there's less wrinkles when they come up on the board here. So usually same process usually for everything. Picture the front, picture of the waist. Onto the rise and then inseam. And then just across the pant leg. I will then typically take a picture of the closure. Any tags on the inside. I do use Spadeberry for listing, so it's really helpful to try to take clear pictures of all the tags just so we can get a good reference. I'll let it run its program, come up with a title, and then I'll go through and edit everything. So I'll go take a picture of the back. And then I fold these in a very specific way. It doesn't really make a difference on these specifically, but on this pair. But if you have like a pair of Levi's or something, I want the label to be on the back. This is a coat that I need to list as well. On the back, and then I put it in this way. I just have self-sealing bags. I've seen guys that have like the zipper, like almost like a big Ziploc bag. But we also have to start the box here. So I'm going to come around. This is how I do my inventory. I'll probably make a better video of this later. So I do a kind of a date-based inventory. So I'm going to start with 12/8. So I'll put 12/8 on this piece of like pre-cut cardboard that sticks up. That way you might be able to see in the background as I sell inventory, I'm able to like reconsolidate the inventory without having to label the box itself. So like this can go to any different box or whatever as I sell the inventory through that. Usually fit about 18 pairs of pants in a box. So I'm going to go ahead and label out 18 labels for that. 1, 2. And they will be labeled 12/8, 1 through 18. Start. So I will leave these on the label roll, but that's what it looks like. Just the date and then the number. And then as I package a pair of pants, I will put those on the top, not on the side, straight on the top. That way when I look through now, I will take a picture of that. And now when I look through, when I look for this later when I sell it, I'll look for 12/8, and then it'll be right there all in a line that I can just look up the thing. I don't have to go through. And I can pull this out. And then when I pull it out, it'll make more sense for like a pair of this, but I can just double check if it's got a patch here that I can double check and, oh yeah, that's a pair of Levi's. That's what I was looking for. Just an extra visual on that. So that's the process of packaging and taking pictures of a pair of jeans. Now we just have to do it like 70 times in a day. Take a picture of the front. I just take these at 1x zoom. Sometimes I'll straighten that out a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see this really well, but I'll take a picture then of the closure and of all the labels on the inside. That way Spadeberry can get a good I'll take a picture of the RN number. My goal with this is just to take you guys along, because it can be a little intimidating just to do something that you have never done before. So it's not hard, it's just you have to come up with a process for it, a process for every part of the business, and then you just execute and do it over and over again. So this is folded like this, and this is what I was saying is I'll put it in the bag with the label on the back. And it is freezing cold right now, so I actually ordered some heaters to put in the garage because it is cold. So then put it on there, and then you can just like that. And now when I pull these out, like I said, oh yeah, that's a pair of Lucky brand, just to double check that what I'm looking for is actually what is on there. I don't know if these corduroys will do well or not. I need to get a lot better at picking through the sell-through rate. But right now, I mean, I've done this for a couple months. Basically, almost that whole shelf over there is pretty much just junk inventory. Not junk, but like you got to start somewhere, and you kind of go with the knowledge that you have. I probably wouldn't have picked up any of those jeans again. So, like I said, probably like 300 or 400 pairs are kind of like junk inventory that I wouldn't redo. But like I said, you got to just start somewhere. And you're not going to get things perfect right off the bat. The biggest thing is just to keep doing, find a procedure, and just something that you can repeat and keep doing it over again. So we'll fold these up. I like these bags because they're self-sealing. All of my inventory has been washed, unless it's dry clean only, or if it's new with tags. I wash all my inventory, so I'll put those in there. Oh, the other thing I can do is put a note in here that these are orange, just because sometimes Spadeberry doesn't pick it up very well. And then the other thing I think I forgot to do was take pictures of that label before I put it in there, so it's not a big deal. It's just easier when you're using the software to be able to differentiate what is the inventory switch over in the software. So when I started this, the biggest hang up for me was listing. Listing is just time consuming. It's not fun. I don't like it. And so when Tech and Sports came out with his Better Lister AI thing that's now Spadeberry, I signed up for that. It's 50 cents a listing. It's not 100% accurate, but it'll get you 90% of the way there. And it cuts down a lot on my time to list. So I will typically I mean, it cuts down so much time on the listing, and then you just have to go back and edit it. If it wasn't for that software, honestly, I probably wouldn't be doing this still, because it's so time consuming to do it manually. For me, I'm not good at that. So any tools that I have that can take the time off on that is worth it for me. Now, I'm in a little bit of a different scenario, I think, than most people that I see trying to do an eBay business. I don't have any intentions of ever doing this like full time or to replace my full-time income. I actually, guys that I've met and guys that I see online, you know, in the corporate rat race type of thing, that just are looking for a way out. That's not me. I'm actually a corporate pilot, and I absolutely love my job. So I have no desire to ever quit that. The thing is, though, I just have like a huge entrepreneurial drive. I did, like, both of my grandparents owned their own businesses. My dad owned his own business. I owned my own business getting through college. And always knew I wanted to be a pilot. So getting through flight school and everything, it was helpful to have that extra income to be able to get me through that. So now that I've kind of reached where I want to be in my career, I still find that I have that entrepreneurial itch, that I just have to be doing something on the side. I just really enjoy the side hustle, or the just being able to do something on my own. I'm pretty blessed. I get to have a fairly decent amount of time off. So I was looking for some way to turn some of that time into just a side gig. The goal right now is to get this up to an extra $5,000 a month of extra income, which would be really great, because who wouldn't want an extra 60 grand a year? But that's my goal, is to get this up to an extra $5 grand a month. So this pair right here is fairly, got a lot of flaws with it. So what I'll typically do, this has been washed, but it has spots here still. So I'll just kind of put my finger there. That way they can see. It's got some holes and tears in it, which is fine for some pairs, because people don't really care on certain pairs, I don't think, how damaged they are. Like a pair of work pants or some Carhartts typically. Oh, so these have a button enclosure. Take a picture of that. And the tag is pretty worn out, but probably shouldn't have bought these. That's okay. I'm just taking pictures of different accents. Then I typically will reclose the pair here. That way, if I know that all the like zippers and buttons and everything work before I ship it out. It's also important to have a process which obviously I failed on this here, but it's important to have a process of kind of looking over the garment before you purchase it. The beginning of doing this, I would not have a good process for that, and then sometimes would get home and find that something was hemmed that I didn't realize, or something was, the button didn't work. I'll give it a little shake here to not get any of the wrinkles. Picture the front. So really, I mean, once you have a process down, it's really just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But I mean, it's working so far, so it's really exciting. Once you start to get your first couple sales, it's just pretty exciting to realize that, hey, this is actually working and I can do this. And I've been looking for something to do on the side for a few years now, 2-3 years, and I've tried a bunch of different things, and this is kind of had the luxury of not having to really make anything work, because it's kind of more of a hobby that I'm trying to turn into side income. So I don't really have to worry about like, oh, I've got to live off of this. And not to like, if that's your goal, or this is an answer to that problem for a lot of people that are looking to get make their own hours and be able to do their own be their own boss type of thing. That's great. This can be that for you. I've seen from a lot of other people. So I would say some of the biggest takeaways that I have realized is, when I was first starting out, I would try to source like just the cheapest inventory I could find. Like, I'd go to St. Vincent de Paul, and on their whatever day when, you could get a pair of jeans for like 75 cents or $1.50 or whatever. And I would not pick up the items for, even if the numbers made sense. I didn't look at anything that was like, $8. So, or $5 or whatever. I would go to St. Vincent de Paul on the cheap days, and I would only, spend the least amount of money as possible. Now, or I would go also to like a Goodwill bins, that type of thing. Right now, I will go and source most of my stuff from Goodwill, St. Vincent de Paul, and then I think we have, it's called Valley Thrift. So those make up a good portion of what I will source from. So I also have a lint roller that hangs out at my station. Needs a little bit of cleaning up. And again, I got into this from watching Carrie at Home. She was featured on Tech and Sports YouTube channel or whatever. So I watched a lot of her videos to help, learn how to do this. I ran across that video and I was like, they're selling jeans on eBay? Like, I had sold stuff on eBay before in the past, but it was mostly stuff like you would get like, at the bin store type of thing. Like, I remember I bought like a lot of like odd and ends like plumbing fixtures and things. And the margins were great, but the money didn't make any sense because it was just so low dollars. So, and yeah, I guess you could argue that, you know, pants and clothing are not like high dollar items, but you're also not spending a ton of money, you know, to pick up a pair of pants and sell them, you know, for $7 and sell it for 25 or whatever. So I will take pictures of all of this stuff in here. I also need to make sure I get the sizes. It's kind of hard for me to first YouTube video or first video being recording myself doing this. It's a little more difficult to try to actually do this while I'm talking, which I guess is a skill that you can build over time. But my goal with this is just to bring you guys along, show you what the actually like the ins and outs are. I'm probably just rambling right now, but just show you what it really looks like. Probably not going to edit very well because I don't know how to do that. But just want to bring you guys along and show you the ins and outs and the real life day-to-day, what it really looks like. Not high polish and not edited and all that. So these are blue. It's going to be kind of hard to tell. It's going to be kind of hard to tell when I'm on Spadeberry what this actually is. So I've just put BU for blue, so that it's just a mental note when I'm on there looking at that's what it is. Here's these Dockers, and these are pleated. You can tell they're pleated. I didn't know what that meant for the longest time, but it's just these. It's got these little folds of. Oh shoot! Yeah, I didn't do that either. See, I'm not paying attention. I'm gonna take a picture of this. Put that in there before I take the picture of this. Just these folds of fabric makes them pleated. The other thing is sometimes they'll have little pieces of fabric and stuff that I will cut off before I send those out. Another thing that I've realized is that if you need to get like I said before, a system for every part. So there's a system for when I am, what I do when I'm washing the clothes. There's a system for how to fold the clothes after. There's a system for taking pictures. There's a system for listing, system for shipping. And that's very important because you want the same thing. All you're doing in this business anyway is, the way I see it, is just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And so it's not difficult. It's time consuming. It is hard sometimes to stay motivated. It's actually surprising to me. I would never be the person that would go to Goodwill to shop for clothes for myself. Not because it's pretentious or anything, but because I'm not, what's the guarantee they're even going to have what I'm looking for, or that it's going to be in my size or whatever. So I would never actually go shop at the thrift store for myself. But you put a $sign on what I'm looking for, and it's now a treasure hunt. You're looking for, I wanted to go back and put blue on this one, so I'm going to go and delete that photo and retake it because I wanted to put blue on this one too. So it's now a treasure hunt of going to look for nuggets of gold that I can sell on eBay, and that changes the whole thing. I could go source all day long. I could probably literally source 8 hours a day. It's that enjoyable to me at this point. So usually, typically what I will do is I will try to take all of my pictures before I leave for a trip. And then typically I will fly usually to one place. So when I fly, I don't typically fly like, 4 or 5 flights a day. I typically fly one flight and then I'll sit there for a day and a half or 2 days or 3 days or whatever. So I'll take all of my pictures on my phone and then I'll list those when I'm on a trip. That's typically what works for me. I'm getting distracted here, but anyway, just take a picture of all the tags. Really, the big things are you want to make sure that people, not only that my listing software can see it, but that people are looking for this stuff, they can see what the brand is, what the size is, what the material is, and then any defects I'll show, like I showed you. Any defects I will show, and just as much information as you can get in the listing, and the pictures is the best. But these are black, so that will be BK for black, BU for blue, BR for brown. So we are at 11 items in this box here. Hoping to fit 18. I think these are that pair of Levi's that don't have a tag on the back, or don't have a patch on the back. I'm not really good at figuring out what year and everything the Levi's are. Typically, I will just let Spadeberry run a number, and that's typically just what I listed at. I might up it a little bit if I think it's something that's a little more rare or whatever. But I don't spend a ton of time on trying to figure out every little minutia for every piece that I have. Like I said, my goal is to get to 5,000, and I view this as a numbers game. It's just putting up the most amount of high quality listings that you can do. And by high quality, I mean maybe 80% perfection on what you can do. I'm not going to sit there and spend a lot of time on all this because it's just a numbers game to me. And you're not selling high ticket items most of the time. Most of these will be listed for $24.99, and I think my average cost of goods right now is $550. So I paid $550. I'm going to sell it for $24. eBay's going to take a huge chunk of that. I promote usually at about 8%. So it's just a numbers game on getting a bunch of high quality listings. So some of these, if they have a prominent leather patch on the back, that'll be my cover picture. I'm trying to get a lot of the background in there. If you guys have stuck on this video this long, I'm pretty impressed, because I figure I'm probably talking to nobody, but that's okay. Got to start somewhere. I was going to wait until I got to 10,000 10,000 a month, or 10,000, sorry, 90-day average before I put anything on YouTube. then I debated maybe I shouldn't even do anything on YouTube because that's not really what this is about. But I'm one of those guys where that's what I was looking for was, I went to YouTube to try to find what to do, like a side business type thing, what to do and what would work. So, and then I just watched a lot of videos to try to learn how to do this. And so I was like, why, it doesn't, it's interesting to watch, the guys that make it to $200,000 in, a year, but I don't know how you got there. How did you get there? And that's not documented. So you just show your success. I would have benefited greatly, and maybe there were guys out there that were doing it. I just didn't find them because their algorithm didn't pick it up or whatever. But I was like, I wish I could see, and it probably wouldn't be as entertaining because this isn't entertaining. This isn't as entertaining as somebody that's done $200,000 in sales and whatever and has all the editing and everything. But what's it look like day in and day out to get to the $200,000 a year, or the $100,000 a year, or whatever. The success that people. I guess it's kind of makes sense because you don't really want to listen to somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. But at the same time, if you're watching this and you haven't even started this and you're thinking about it, like, I'm 800, almost 900, almost 1,000 if you count the scheduled stuff that I have, almost 1,000 listings ahead of you. So, there's something to say for that. You don't have to be light years ahead of somebody else to show them, how to get to where you're at. If your goal is to list 1,000 listings, I can show you how to get there. I'm gonna take a picture of this because it has a stretch waist. It'll show up. Spadeberry will pick up on that and put it in the listing. Probably missing a bunch of stuff that I would usually take pictures of because I'm distracted trying to talk through all this, but that's all right. The other thing is you can kind of see that, like, there's not, you need to set up your system in a way that you can, you're not moving large amounts of space to try to get to everything that you're doing. This isn't 100% optimized, but it is, I'm not moving across the whole garage to do, the bag and whatever. It's all kind of like right here, which is helpful. There's a little bit of lint on those, but I'm not going to worry about it. I can see in my pictures that this is not picking up the color very well. So what I'm also going to do sometimes is I'll have a paint swath here that I'll just take a picture next to it to kind of get like the contrast so that people can tell maybe a little better on the screen what the color looks like. Sometimes it's hard to see. So I'll take a picture of all this info. Picture the size and the material. And on the back, it's got some like style codes and things like that, an RN number. back's a little worse than the front, so wipe off some of this. But yeah, I mean, this is just run out of my garage. It's not very big. I figure I could probably get to about, let's see, I've got 800 in here now. I think I could probably get to about 3,000 pairs in here, but that's kind of not the goal. The goal is to kind of work on my sell-through rate. I think right now I'm at about 32%, and that's really low, and I think some of that has to do with the inventory that I started out with that's not super great. It still sells here and there, but it's not like, it's not big movers. A lot of the sales that I have are stuff that is listed more recently. Here's the Duluth, so I'll take a picture of that. That'll be the cover picture. And these actually, they might be, I need to do better research on the different Duluth things. I am really bad with, I'm not great at researching in the store. I haven't really figured out that part of the system yet. I work on it. I do a lot of research like on eBay, what's selling, but like out in the wild, like if I'm at a thrift store, I am not super great at like accurately figuring out what is what's a good buy or whatever. Okay, that was the style, and I got the size. So, but like I said, it's a learning process. It's obviously, you know, working to some degree. Everything can be reiterated or tweaked, done better. You're definitely going to have areas that you're growing in or not super great at that you're going to get better at. I think once I started seeing the sales and then running the numbers on, you know, inventory, I'm like, man, like I should be buying this other stuff because it's going to sell. And I would do research on what was selling on eBay. And you're like, well, if it's really going to sell for $40 or for $35, it does make sense to pick it up at $8 or $10 even, or whatever. So, but I was so afraid for the longest time to make that commitment or that change or whatever. It's okay to spend $8 on something if you're going to make 15 overall or whatever. So I would like to get those numbers up as far as profit, but I mean, that's probably always going to be the case. Key is just to pick a place, pick a niche, pick a thing, get started, not beat yourself up about it. You're just going to have to learn. And you can watch all the YouTube videos that you want, but if you don't actually get out there and do something, it's not going to do you any good because you haven't actually gone out and learned anything. You know, a lot of the stuff that I've learned, I haven't learned from YouTube. It's learning from actually getting out there and making the making the purchases and figuring out how to list and figuring out how to do all this. But once you figure out your processes and your systems and get those in place, it's just rinse and repeat, and just try to get better listings and better inventory every time that you go out to shop, you go out to source, that you're buying the best stuff you can and you're buying stuff that's going to sell, and you'll get better with stuff over time. This is getting a little wonky here. I typically like to stuff these boxes pretty full because as soon as you make a couple sales and you get 4 or 5 of these out of here, now you're just like loose, loose boxes. So like I said, typically I'll try to fit 18 in here. And I am currently doing this in batches. I do not work on this business every single day. I'm at home every single day to do that, if I'm on a trip. But sometimes I will source when I'm out on trips. And one of the scariest things I think is the fact that, like, if you go to, I'm near Cincinnati, but if you go out to Las Vegas, Phoenix, California, like people that sourced in those regions, I mean, there's no profit on a lot of the stuff that I would pick up here. I can pick up for, still at a good profit, but the stuff they're selling out there it's already listed, it's already for sale at Goodwill for what you would sell it on eBay. So I guess that makes sense at, the nicer areas or whatever, but my fear though is like, is Goodwill going to be, not really a fear, whatever, but is Goodwill going to, all the Goodwill is going to go to that modding at some point, I will take a close-up of the leather patch on the back, fold these up, flip it around, put it in here. Here's number 18. 18. See if we can get it in here without dumping the whole thing everywhere. All right, that's good enough for me. That's gonna go on the shelf. Slide right in. Now I have, I can post, I'll probably put it in the description, the boxes and everything that I use. They're 24 by 10 by 8, but I haven't had to use new boxes in a while because I have, when I sell stuff, I'll go through, I've done it twice now, but I'll just reconsolidate everything. Every time I do that, I probably get like 12 or 16 boxes back. So I haven't had to buy any new ones in a while. So I'm going to grab a new box. They're behind you. All right, so here's new box that's already made up. I'm going to grab another one of my cardboard inserts. And now we're going to move on to, so we did 12.8, we'll do 12.9. 2, 3. I'll probably get a label maker to do these. But this is the best inventory system that I could figure out on my own. I did this, I feel like, is way easier to find when I go to ship something. And I'll show you at the end here. We're going to ship out those 5 packages. I've kind of come up with a mix between what Tech and Sports does with his videos, and kind of like my own thing. So I think he did like a date-based inventory system, which again I think makes the most sense instead of just random numbers. So that's what it looks like. Probably get a label maker to do all this, but I leave space in the middle to write notes if I need to. So I'll do all those before I start a batch because it's way easier to do everything all at once than to try to do it as you're taking pictures, and I want to get the Sharpie out every single time I have to do a label. So hopefully this is interesting to you guys. I don't know. I just figured I was going to be doing this anyway, so might as well just turn on the video camera. Maybe it's super boring to watch my back this whole time while I'm doing this, but hopefully there's nuggets of information in there you can pick up on. So just getting really close up on these labels. And make sure we have some kind of a size. Yeah, 3430s. So I got the size in there. I'm going to stop picking these up. These are not... Oh, no, these are okay. It was a different pair. It was like Polo Asin or something like this. This is Ralph Lauren, so that's not the ones I was thinking. I was thinking of a different pair. Picked up a pair of a pair of sweatpants that I thought was a good find, and they were like a Walmart brand. So I was like, well, whoops. I sold them for what I got into them. So just no profit. Sometimes there's not every purchase is going to be a win. And I guess you could spend the time, but like I said, I try to do a lot of research on eBay before I go out. So I know what I'm looking for, but then there's other things where I'm like, I think I remember seeing that, but I'm not going to look it up right now. But I'm pretty sure I remember, seeing that that's something that was selling well, or that other people have sold. So I know the big thing is the sell-through. You're supposed to really don't buy anything unless the sell-through rate is phenomenal. I've heard 50%. I'm happy with 30% just because it's a numbers game to me. I don't know how you would, I can't find stuff that sells for 50% sell-through rate. Not enough to actually have a store anyway, I don't think. Get a picture of the RN number. And I want to get a picture of the inside of this. The style of the 484 stretch. I think the keys are, do your research, figure out a way, figure out your own system for that. It's not going to be 100%. You're always going to be able to grow on things. Join your Facebook groups that you can get information off of and things like that. But do your research, figure out a process for that. And then, just don't be afraid to go out and start actually doing it. Oh, look. Just sold an item for $42.39. So that's pretty great. We'll add that to the shipments that we do after we have another 4 or 5 pairs, I think, to do, and then we'll ship out the items that we have. And I'll probably send out a thing, I don't know, make a video with the actual numbers. I keep track of all that stuff on an Excel spreadsheet. And that's helpful. That's the other thing is, if your goal is to do this and actually replace your income, you have to treat it like an actual business. I'm kind of a numbers guy anyway, so I just enjoy doing that stuff. But you have to know your numbers if you're going to make this your full-time income. You're going to have to know your numbers, or at least a pretty good general idea of what they are. So, this Carhartt pair of carpenter pants. Get those in the bag here. The other thing I really liked about, men's clothing or women's clothing or whatever is I only do right now other than like an oddball here and there, the majority of it is just men's pants. Women's pants too. I found a really good deal on like 50 like jerseys, NFL jerseys that I didn't know anything about. I was kind of worried after I bought them. I was like, oh shoot, am I going to get like a copyright thing or something? Like, can I sell these? Are they okay to sell, or am I going to get like a copyright thing? But I bought all 50. It was like $700 something. Bought all 50 of them, and typically they've been selling for like 35 upwards. Some sold for like $45, but I did the research, a lot of research afterwards, and even talked to a buddy that I know that resells. So these are missing the tag, sizing tags and stuff in there. So whatever. I won't know exactly what materials they are, but that'll be listed in the description. But anyway, those jerseys, bought those jerseys, and it seems like they've worked out pretty well. So that's an exception. I'd like to get into men's shirts. I haven't explored that area at all, really. But it would just open up. It would just open up more opportunity. The thing is, there is like, the more you do this, there's so much opportunity out there. It's everywhere. Like, you walk into a Goodwill, you know, typically, and it's like, there's so much money in here. Like, I know there's stuff there that I'm passing up because I don't know the that niche or that area. So men's shirts would definitely be something that I would want to get into at some point here. But so here's the leather patch. Goes in. When I pull it out, be able to see real quick. Yeah, that's the size 559s, and that's what I'm looking for. Just another way to verify that you've got the right item. So let's see. What was I talking about? I figured I wanted to get pretty good at one area before I went to try to be good at something else, so I can kind of build off of this. And it seems to be working. So currently we're selling about I think it's typically 3 to 4, sometimes 5 a day, pretty consistently. And I go a whole. If you know anything from tech and sports, he made a comment one time that really stuck with me. It was, you know, I think he says it all the time, but I'm okay with some of the money all the time rather than all of the money some of the time. And so, like, I'll be pretty okay with accepting offers that obviously I could probably get more for it if I hung out and stuck around, but I'm willing to take, list something for $24.99 that I paid on average $5.54, and I get an offer for, 21 or 20. I'm happy with that. Like I said, though, my numbers probably aren't super stellar. I know there's people out there that are, making a lot more, but I sometimes also think, and I don't know if this is true, I don't know if there's a way to even prove it or not, but I will find that if I have accepted an offer, typically the sales for that day will be more plentiful. Sometimes if I counter an offer, if it's like super low, like, oh, I'll give you $5, it's like, no, I'm not doing that. But If it's around what I want, I'll definitely take it. Because what I think I've seen, and like I said, I can't prove this, but seems to be that if you accept an offer, you are more likely to have your, here's the tag, have your sales be better through the day. Here's a tag that I want to take a picture of. Here we go. So this is the last pair for, make sure the zipper works, for the this batch for this video. I'll take a picture of that too. And then we'll get to the shipping. So I think I'm going to reorient this to where you can see me pick it out and kind of how I go about shipping things. So I'm going to move you. Let's go through and I'm going to update the app here. 6 to ship out. We're going to go ahead and start with the first one. So it just lists them in an order. So I usually start from the top. And the first one, the custom label is 1028.3. So I can see I got 12s and 11s over here. I can see 1028. 1, 2, 3. I can just look from the top. Super easy to get to. I got my package poly mailer thing over here. I'm going to slide that in. I've got a trash can right here. So like I said, you got to have a system for everything. I need to figure out something to do with these stickers. But I put a thank you for your order sticker on there. And I've got my scale right here. This is probably going to be 2 pounds. Yeah, so purchase your label. Get your shipping label. I'm going to throw the actual weight in there. I just save the label and then I have it hooked up to this little printer here. Or 50, I don't know. I got it on Amazon. Works great. When you start out, it's perfectly fine to print these on like a regular printer, cut them out, and then just tape it. That's what I did for the longest time. And then I realized like, hey, we're shipping out a bunch of these. I need to get something better. So I'll just cycle back through to eBay. You probably can't see any of this, but I'll update to the next one. 11.18.1. So I got 11. 18 is down here, and 1 is right here. 11.18.1. This is a pair of Nike sweatpants. That's always a good find. I think sweatpants around here are typically selling for like $4.99, and I just sold these for $24.99. This is a pair of black Nike like dry fit joggers sweatpants, so super great. Now these are coming up at 15 ounces, so I'm going to put that in there. Get shipping label. I recently changed to, I had calculated shipping in there, and that's pretty bad. I think it it would show like 13 something sometimes to ship out to like California, and I think that was prohibiting a lot of the sales. So I think I did this last week. Yeah, it was last week that I just went to like a flat rate, and I'm hoping that that's going to help with the sales. Hoping that the flat rate is going to help with the shipping. That's what I've seen other people do. Super easy though if you can get a printer like that, because like I said, when we were getting like one sale a day, or one sale every other day, it wasn't a big deal. And then just cut it out with a pair of scissors and literally just three strips of tape, and I would tape it to the package. And there's no, unless you're trying to do this on a shoestring budget, no reason to do it that way. So 11/16/5, 11/16/5, right there. A pair of 511s are going out. Load these in. A little thank you sticker, like I said. And we'll weigh these, and this will be 2 pounds, I'm sure. Yep. 1 pound 7 ounce. So I'm going to put shipping label and do 2 pounds. And maybe I'll purchase shipping label. So maybe, I don't know, at some point I'll do like a video where you can actually see the screen. But at least this is just kind of the process that I have. Save the label, and then it'll run off of printing off of that. I have a pre-saved like measurements in there where it'll print this off of here. But I mean, you can you'll probably find a better one on Amazon than what I have. But this will give you a kind of an idea, a real-time idea of what it actually looks like to ship these out, and then the time frame for that. So let's see, we got a pair of 13 NWZs going out. It's 8/13/13. So 8/13. 13. Nope. Sorry, that's 14/13. 8/13/13 right there. 8/13/13, and this is a pair of NWZs, and I can visually see that because I put my my jeans in the right way where I can see what I'm looking for. Like if I would accidentally grab that 14/13 that I had, I could have visually looked and like, oh yeah, no, that's not the right one. Unless it just happened to be a pair of Wranglers also. Probably not. So it's just another way to prevent yourself from sending out the wrong inventory on the wrong label. So switch this to 2 pounds because it weighs pound 15 ounces. So that's 2 pounds basically. Purchase shipping label. This is probably a lot easier to do, you know, if you had a dedicated desktop or whatever out here, but I don't have any of that. So we're going to go resize it and print it. Print. But you see how, I mean, it's not perfect, but I've got a flow for everything. You know, I ripped this off. I got a trash can right there that I can throw it in. You know, I've got everything set to where it's a good space. You're not moving all over the place. You got the same thing every single time. It's just rinse and repeat. It's just the same thing. Shipping's the same thing. Same way as taking pictures. It's all the same. 11/9/6, pair of 541s going out. 11/9/6, 11/9/6, 11/9/6 right there. 541. There it is. Flip it around. Put it in. Hoping my battery didn't die on my phone. That's going to be a pound 6 ounces, so that's 2 pounds. Something, or that one didn't print out very well, so I'm going to redo that. That looks better. And I think this is coming up on our last pair too. Yep. Last pair is a pair of 514s. 8/15/10. So 8/15/15. And I need to tape this box. This box got ripped from pulling it out too many times. 8/15/10. 514s. Bags are in here. Put it in. And right now, I just have like an oversized mailbox that I have USPS come to. I don't have them pick it up on the... This will be 2 pounds also. I don't have them pick it up on the porch or anything. It's just an oversized mailbox that I put out there. And we can fit... It's a huge mailbox. I'll put a picture up maybe. But just got it on Amazon, and I just took the old one off and put the new one on, and it fits. It'll probably fit 15 pairs of jeans in there, so works out pretty well. And resize it, and we'll print the last one. Print the last one, and then just kind of like reset up the station for next time. And there we go. I'm just gonna go put those in the mailbox, put my phone back on the charger, ready to go for next time. And voila, there you go. Thanks for watching.